and I hope you're blessed in this lifetime, and I'm blessed as well. So today I wanted to speak to people who have recently discovered themselves and want to get back out there in the dating world. And also this video is for people who just want to date in general, and they just kind of don't really know the questions to ask, or like what you shouldn't do, or you know what I mean. I feel like everybody's a little bit nervous on the first date, so I hope these little tips help you out. So number one, now I know a lot of people might disagree with me on this, but I'm going to speak on the don'ts first. So this is number one. I don't speak about past relationships. I don't bring old energy into new energy. I don't mix them. I feel like once you ask, oh, what happened in your last relationship? They can either tell you a lie or they can tell you the truth. But I just feel like different people bring out certain things in people, you know what I mean? And I just feel like you can't really judge a person on what happened in their last relationship. Of course, you know, maybe they were beating them up or whatever the case may be, but I just think that you really have to be in tune with your intuition when you're dating, you know what I mean? Because I feel like whether that person is like, oh, you know, I broke up with my ex because she was toxic, or I wasn't the best, or whatever, I feel like it's not gonna really change your mind if you want to mess with this person or not. You know what I mean? I feel like past energy shouldn't be mixed with new energy. So I don't ask, I don't care. How you act with me is not gonna be how you acted with your ex, you know, or whoever, you know, like you have to be so full in love with yourself to the point where you're just like, whatever happened with you and her or him ain't got nothing to do with me. Over here, you gonna sit down and act like you got some sense. You know what I mean? Like, that's me right there. Like, I don't ask no questions about your ex. I don't care about your ex. I don't care, you know? I don't mix past energy with new energy. And I don't bring up any type of trauma or like speak badly about anybody to a new person, or really honestly in general. I don't speak badly on anybody. I just think that I just don't want to bring trauma into new energy. I want a new fresh start. What me and you are going to do. So don't ask me about, oh, my past relationship or anything what had happened. Okay, so that's number one. Don't ask about past relationship, and don't bring past energy into a new situation. So that's number one. Number two, now, I know people be like, I like to drink. I like to have a little drink on the first date. As for me, I don't drink at all with a new man who I'm not pursuing. We don't pursue men. Who I'm interested in or I want to date. I don't drink around him on the first date, or even it would take me a while to drink with them. And why I mostly gonna focus on why I don't drink on the first date, I want to be able to tolerate you in my natural state. I want to be able to feel my natural state instead of it being altered. You know, I want to be able to like you in my natural state. I feel like sometimes when people drink alcohol or whatever, they kind of ignore things. They kind of let loose and aren't really like paying attention to things that they should when they're drinking, you know, that type of thing. And as for me, that's why I just don't want to drink. And also I feel like if you can't tolerate me in your natural state, then, you know, I feel like, I don't know, I just don't like it. And I feel like once you start drinking on the first date, there's always alcohol involved after that. Like, oh, you want to drink today? Should I bring tequila? Should I bring Hennessy? And it's just like, no, bring yourself and your damn sense. You know what I mean? So I don't like drinking on the first date. And you can just be like, oh, you know, I just don't want to drink today. And if he tries to pressure you into having a drink, I feel like it's a red flag. I don't like that. So that's my don't. Do not drink on the first date. And if he feels like, oh, you need to have a drink, or you notice like he needs to have a drink in order to calm down or in order to have a good time, I think that's a red flag to me. Because why can't you be in your natural state and calm yourself and soothe yourself? I feel like if you need something to soothe you, that's a problem. Even individually, even not in the dating world, just the fact that you can't soothe yourself is a little bit of an issue. So I just think that um, that's just not what we do. We're not drinking on the first date. Now, number 3, I know people are like, we grown. If the vibes is right, we can have sex. We can go home with each other. And as for me, I think that's a no-no. I really think it's a no-no. You should not be having sex with somebody you just met just because you spent a few hours with them or you like them. And if you feel like you're overly liking them, you know what I mean, like, oh, I really like this guy, like you start to like want to call your friend like, oh, I like him, that. I feel like that's where you need to like calm yourself down a little bit and realize that you're kind of idolizing. You know, you start to paint a picture. And I talked about this in my last video, one of my other previous videos, that when you start to overly like somebody and you've only spent like a few hours with them, you start to paint your own picture of them. You start to kind of think of like scenarios in your head without knowing, you know, unconsciously. And I feel like then you start to idolize, you know. So I feel like if you notice yourself, oh, I really like him, everything's going good, let me text about this, or maybe I should spend more time with him, like let's go back home to his place or he can go to my place, whatever the case may be. Do not go home with him. Do not let him come to your house on the first date just because you guys spent a few hours and he paid for everything and you're just like, oh girl, he paid for this, he opened my door, he gave me some roses. Always remember, a man is supposed to do those things for you. You do not have to reward him with your body for how he's supposed to treat you. You know what I mean? You need to think of your body like as a temple, as a diamond. And even if you're a man, you should not have sex with the woman on the first date. You should show her that you have sexual discipline. Like sex doesn't, you know, move you. You know what I mean? Like you're not desperate. You're not a desperate man. You have sexual discipline. You know, you're looking for more than just sex. You know what I mean? So don't have sex with anybody on the first date. Your body is a temple. You're a diamond. I feel like, especially women, please look at yourself as like a diamond. And most of the time when women have sex on the first date, it's because they feel pressured into it. You know what I mean? It's not really like, they feel like if they say no, maybe they won't get the second date. I know a lot of women will not admit that, but it's true. You know what I mean? So don't have sex just because you feel pressured or you feel like he's not gonna like you if you say no. I promise you, he will respect you if he is for you. You know, don't give your body away just because he brought you this and spent time with you, this, that, and the third. And I hate, this is how you have to think of it. So you brought me a steak and a side of french fries and a nice little cocktail or drink, whatever the case may be, and now you think I'm supposed to give you something? You know, no, just because you brought me some food, that's how I think about it. Like, you trying to pimp me for some food? Like I don't know, I just don't like sex on the first date. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Respect yourself, and I promise you, when you go home, you will feel like even more of that diamond that you know that you are, and you'll feel stronger because you stood on your boundaries and you didn't let anybody like try to like down talk you or try to like move you. You know, don't be moved, be still. And I'm gonna tell you a little story about my dating mishap. So anyway, I met this guy on Hinge and everything was good. You know, we were texting for like 3 days and then we were like, oh, we live really close, let's just meet. I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. So the guy was like, the day of the date, like earlier in the day, he was like, oh, just come home with me, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm not going home with you, like what? No. And then he was like, well, I can come back to your house. And I was like, no, you're not. And I just was kind of like turned off, like, why are you trying to get me to go to your house like so bad, you know? So after that, he started to like send me like 1-word answers, or like trying to like, I don't know, like talk to me like dismiss me, kind of, sort of. And I was like, I'm not going on a date with him. I don't like him, you know, like I don't like that. It's giving me like red flag. And then he was like, do you still want to go on this date? And I was like, no. And then he was like, I think that we should just go and see if we vibe. And I was like, you know what, let me just calm down. Let me just, you know, maybe there's a misunderstanding going on. Let me just, you know. So, and I ended up going to this date. Now, the whole time at the date, he had like this little like attitude, but it was like kind of like, I don't know, at that time I was newly reestablishing my boundaries. So I kind of was just like, oh, you know, like trying to make like talk with him, kind of like forced a little bit. And like, it was fine, you know, it was okay, but it was just like, he had a little attitude, but like a little cute attitude. But we would like, I would like make him laugh, you know, it was starting to be like calm, you know, everything was starting to be like cool. And then he was like, I remember just like yesterday, he was eating his little chicken wing. He was like, I can't believe you're not going home with me. And I was like, I'm not going home with you. Sorry, you know? And then he was like, okay. So then towards the end of the day, like he paid and he acted like a little, like he had like a little attitude when he was paying or whatever. I was just like, whatever, like walk me to my car. So he was like, where you going? You gonna go home? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go home. And then, but like before that, he was like, I had a nice little place to take you. Like I wanted to take you to the water. Like I love water. And then I was like, okay, or we can still go like to the water, you know? And he was like, I'm not taking you to the water. And I was like, okay. So then he walked me to my car. Like right when I got into the car, he was like, just follow me. I want to take you to the water. And I was like, oh, okay. Like he's kind of like a passive aggressive, but it was like kind of like cute, but also like a little red flag. Cause why you got to attitude with me? But anyway, so yeah, we went there. We had like a little, time at the water. We talked, you know, it started to be like okay or whatever. Then like towards the end of the night, like I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go home. He's like, I wanted to give you some flowers, I wanted to give you this. And I was like, well, you still could have brought them, you know what I mean, like the night's still young. And he was just like, no, I wanted to get them to you at home. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, I'm not going home, you know. Like he was so pushy, like he was not respecting my boundary, like I'm not going home with you. And then like he was like, okay, like whatever. And then like he was like, you won, you know what, you got a free dinner, you got that blah blah blah. And I was like that's nothing to me. Like I could have paid for my own dinner if you want to keep throwing that in my face. Like I feel like you kind of making me feel like I owe you something because you brought me some food. And it's just like, no, I can do that on my own, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, I didn't like that. And then like we did plan to have like a second date, but when the second date was like approaching, I did not like his attitude. Like I just didn't like the way that he would like, in between the time he would like try to get me to like see him or like come over. And I'm like, are you trying to kill me? But the moral of that story is that I'm so glad that I stood on my boundaries, because if I would have had sex with that man on that date, I feel like he would have not have respected me and would have looked at me as like all the other girls who went home with him on the first date or did what he wanted to do. And I'm just glad that I stood on my boundaries and what I stand for. So just the son that I don't have sex on the first date, don't feel pressure, don't feel like you owe him something because he paid for your dinner or he took you out. You don't owe him anything, okay? So that's all for my don'ts. Now for my do's. I ask questions that mean something, okay? So ask him what his mental state is on a day-to-day, and he will be surprised by that question. Now how you ask that is like, you can be like talking and you should be like, well, what's your mental state like on a daily? Like how is your mental state? You know, would you say that you have positive thoughts or more negative thoughts? Like what would you know what I mean? Like, and like really ask those questions, because I feel like that question is important. Because if you're dealing with somebody who, if he says, oh, I mostly have negative thoughts or depressing thoughts, that's a clue that he might not be emotionally stable, or he might not be mentally stable. So I feel like that's a nice question to ask. Definitely ask that. And then I think that this question is very, very important. Ask him what he is passionate about. Don't ask him, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Of course, everybody sees themselves in a big house with some kids and a white picket fence. Ask him what he's passionate about, and that right there will tell you what type of man he is and where he's going to be in the next few years. And ask him what steps is he taking to fulfill that passion. You know, all those questions will give you, okay, I see that he has a plan. I see that he is motivated. I see that he wants to be somebody. He wants to do something with himself, not just dream about it. You know, he's actually taking action. So I feel like that question will literally like tell you like, this man might be the one. You know what I'm saying? He passionate. He got, you know what I'm saying? So yes. And number 3, the do question. Now for me, this question is very important. Finances. Now, and how you can ask about like if you want to find out like, does he take care of his woman, or what does he expect from his woman, or what his financial what his financial situation is right now, you need to be asking this question. You need to be asking him, how do you want your house ran finance-wise with your woman? Like, how would you want your woman to be finance-wise, and how would you want the household to be ran? You know, that type of thing. That way you can figure out if this man is a 50-50 man, or is he 100% man, or what he expects. Now, by asking that question, you can find out also like, does he expect you to take care of yourself and him? You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of men don't get why women don't want to do 50-50. Now me, I don't do no 50-50. I don't even play them games, and I don't think that women should be doing 50-50 either. You know, we can get into a 50-50 video later, but I just feel like no woman should be doing 50-50 with a whole man. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do 75-25, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with that, but we ain't doing no 50-50 in 2025. Absolutely not. Or even after that, before that. I don't do no 50-50. So yes, be asking that question, because that's also gonna tell you like, I can really invest with him. I can really grow with him. I can really do what I need to do while still with him. And and it'll also tell you that you can depend on him. You know what I mean? So I think that, and it'll like make him want to tell you the truth. Like, oh, you know, I really want to take care of my woman, but I'm just not financially there. Or I really want to invest in this with my woman. You know, I feel like finances, I know people are like, why would you talk about finances on the first date? But baby, you ain't gonna be wasting my time, okay? Ask those very important questions on the first date. Do not wait until like later, until you get comfortable with him, until you already start liking him, and now you're stuck with a man that you with, but you still got to call your daddy to help you financially. No, we're not doing that. If you got a man, do not be calling your daddy to be helping you. Don't do it. Or your parents or whoever. That man is supposed to be your partner. Y'all supposed to bounce off and on each other, okay? He's supposed to be taking care of you, okay? And that also will tell you that if you guys talk finances on the first date, that will also tell you like, does he expect for you to take care of him like later on? And watch out for this, okay? If the man's like, oh, I love a financially independent woman. I love a woman who's independent, because they think that like they're not gonna have to do as much work, and it's just like, we're not doing that over here, baby. You know what I'm saying? So please talk about finances on the first date. And I just think that those things that I mentioned are like super, super, super important, especially a woman who's dating, and especially a man who's dating. You can figure out, you know, is this woman just trying to leech off of you or bum off you? And let me clear up something. When I say 50-50, I don't mean like a woman just draining you dry or anything like that. No, I think that sorry, not I think that, I know. What I'm trying to say is that a man is supposed to take care of a woman. A woman is not supposed to do 50-50 with you, because a woman never really does 50-50, especially if you have kids together and stuff like that. That woman's doing like your work and her work, you know what I mean? So that's also, I told you we can get into it later, but please talk finances on the first date. So that's all my little tips for you. I hope you found them helpful. Please leave a comment below if you think of anything else that you should be asking on the first date, because let's talk about it, because 2025 is more expansion. It's all about love, truth, and humanity, kindness. You know, find somebody who has those qualities and not what you see in the media, you know? So anyway, I want to do a prayer card before we close out here, and I think I'm just gonna do one today. Let's do just one. Okay. Like, sometimes I'd be like, are you telling me this one? Okay, it says, the Lord is good to those who hope is in him. Please get you a man of God in 2025 and a woman of God, period. Bye, see you later.